Lucas caught Scarlett having an intimate conversation in the office. His suspicions were confirmed. She had been in love with someone else for years. The betrayal destroys their marriage, but Lucas does not give up. Will he be able to rebuild his life after such a blow? Lucas gripped the steering wheel, weaving through Miami's evening traffic, the takeout bag from Scarlett's favorite Cuban restaurant warm on the passenger seat. He just sealed a massive contract for a new downtown park, 6 months of grueling work finally paying off. Tonight was for celebrating, a rare chance to surprise Scarlett at her office at the Miami Herald. She'd been working late, chasing a big story about City Hall corruption. Or so she said. He pulled into the Herald's parking lot at 8:45 p.m., the building's glass facade reflecting the neon glow of the city. The security guard, recognizing him from company events, waved him through with a nod. "Evening, Mr. Hernandez. Features floor's pretty quiet now." Lucas smiled, balancing the bag of ropa vieja and plantains, and took the elevator to the 7th floor. The newsroom was a ghost town, desks littered with coffee cups and crumpled notes. Only one corner cubicle glowed, a single desk lamp casting light on Scarlett's silhouette. She was on the phone, her laughter sharp and bright, a sound Lucas hadn't heard at home in months. His steps slowed. She leaned back, twirling a pen, her voice low and intimate. "You're impossible," she said, giggling, then hung up, typing something quickly on her phone with a smile Lucas didn't recognize. His gut twisted. He could have stormed in, demanded answers, but the takeout bag felt heavy in his hand, the moment too raw. He backed away, slipping out before she could notice. In the parking lot, he tossed the food into a dumpster, the smell of garlic and cumin souring his mood. Driving home, he replayed her laugh, that unfamiliar spark in her voice. Scarlett had always been his anchor. Met during their final year at the University of Miami, married 8 months later at a beachside ceremony. Their life built brick by brick through sweat and sacrifice. Was it all a lie? At home, Scarlett was already in bed, scrolling through her phone. "Long day?" Lucas asked, keeping his tone even. She glanced up, startled. "Yeah, big story. Council's a mess." Her eyes darted back to the screen. Lucas lay beside her, staring at the ceiling, the hum of the AC drowning out his racing thoughts. He'd built a landscaping empire trusting his instincts. When a soil test flagged issues, he acted, no matter the cost. Now those same instincts screamed that something was wrong. The next morning, while Scarlett showered, Lucas did something he'd never imagined. He grabbed her phone. No passcode. She'd always trusted him. Recent calls showed nothing unusual, just work contacts and Isabella. Texts were clean too, mostly group chats and deadlines. Either he was paranoid or she was meticulous. He set the phone down, guilt creeping in, but the image of her laughing in that cubicle wouldn't fade. 2 days later, Isabella, home from her freshman year at Florida State, dropped a bomb. She'd borrowed Lucas's truck to move dorm furniture and handed him a crumpled receipt from the console. "Dad, why were you at the Coral Reef Hotel last Friday? Weren't you at that expo in Tampa?" Lucas stared at the paper. $289. $50 charged to his corporate card, timestamped when he was 200 miles away. His throat tightened. "I wasn't there, he said, voice low. Isabella frowned. "Then who used your card?" Lucas didn't answer. He didn't need to. The receipt burned in his hand, a tangible crack in the life he'd built. Scarlett had some explaining to do, but he wasn't ready to confront her, not without proof. He'd learned in business to verify before acting, and this was no different. He called Mike, an old friend turned private investigator who owed him for a discounted job on his yard. "I need you to look into something," Lucas said, his voice steady despite the storm inside. Discreetly. Mike met him the next day at a diner off Biscayne Boulevard. "You sure about this, Lucas?" he asked, sipping black coffee. "Once you dig, there's no going back." "I need the truth," Lucas replied, sliding the receipt across the table. "Find out who she's meeting." For a week, Mike tailed Scarlett. Lucas threw himself into work, designing irrigation systems and pitching to city planners, but every night his mind churned. Was it a colleague? A fling? Or something deeper? On Thursday, Mike called during a site visit. "Got something," he said. "Meet me at the Coral Reef Hotel. Now." Lucas arrived in 15 minutes, parking beside Mike's beat-up sedan. Mike handed him a camera with a long lens. Through it, Lucas saw a silver BMW in the lot and a man, tall, graying, checking his watch before entering the hotel. Scarlett had arrived in a cab 30 minutes earlier. "That's Damon Ruiz," Mike said, editor at the Tampa Tribune. "They worked together before you two met. Looks like they've been reconnecting." The name hit like a punch. Damon, Scarlett's ex from college, the one she dated before Lucas, who'd left for a job in Tampa. She'd mentioned him maybe twice in 20 years, always with a distant tone. Lucas handed the camera back, his jaw tight. "Keep digging," he said. "I need everything." That night, Lucas sat in his truck outside their house, the receipt and Damon's name looping in his mind. He and Scarlett had built a life. Isabella's first steps, late-night strategy sessions for his business, her rise to section editor. Was it all a facade? He needed answers, but confronting her now felt like walking into a trap. Instead, he booked a session with their family therapist, Dr. Carter, under the guise of work stress. Scarlett agreed easily, maybe too easily. In the therapist's office, Lucas sat across from Scarlett, her hands folded tightly. "Dr. Carter asked, "What's really going on, Lucas?" He looked at Scarlett, her eyes avoiding his. "I feel like we're drifting," he said, choosing his words carefully. "Like there's something you're not telling me." Scarlett shifted, her phone buzzing in her purse. She silenced it, but not before Lucas caught a glimpse of a text notification. "Dr." His blood ran cold. "Is there something I should know, Scarlett?" Dr. Carter pressed gently. She hesitated, then broke. "I've been talking to someone. An old friend, Damon Ruiz." Her voice was barely a whisper, but it hit Lucas like a freight train. "Talking," he said, his tone calm but razor sharp. "Or more." Her silence was answer enough. Lucas leaned back, the room shrinking around him. 20 years, a daughter, a home, all teetering on the edge of a truth he wasn't sure he could face. The therapy session ended in suffocating silence. Scarlett's confession hung in the air like a blade, slicing through 20 years of marriage. Lucas drove home alone, Scarlett claiming she needed to clear her head at the office. He didn't argue. The truth was out, but it wasn't enough. He needed the full scope of her deception. At home, Lucas poured a bourbon and sat in the dark, replaying Scarlett's words. An old friend. Damon Ruiz. Friend? The hotel receipt, the laughter, the text from Dr. It all pointed to more. His phone buzzed. Mike, the PI, had sent a file. Photos of Scarlett and Damon at the Coral Reef Hotel, her hand on his arm, their heads close. A second attachment detailed Damon's visits to Miami over the past year, timed with Scarlett's late nights. Lucas's grip tightened on the glass. This wasn't a fling, it was a double life. The next morning, while Scarlett was out, Lucas searched their home office. In a locked drawer, he found a sealed envelope marked personal. Inside were letters, dozens of them, from Damon to Scarlett, some dated 15 years back. The earliest ones were from their college days, full of promises to reconnect after he moved to Tampa. Others, more recent, spoke of missed chances and what could have been. One, from 6 months ago, mentioned Damon's divorce. Maybe fate's giving us another shot. Scarlett's handwritten notes in the margins, dates, hearts, a phone number, proved she'd never let him go. Lucas's chest burned, but he stayed calm, years of business crises teaching him to channel anger into action. He called Mike. "I need more." Dig into their communication, emails, calls, anything. Mike hesitated. "Lucas, this is eating you up. You sure you want to keep going?" "I have to know how deep this goes," Lucas said, his voice steel. Over the next week, Mike uncovered a trail. Encrypted emails from secondary accounts Scarlett used, calls routed through a burner app, and a second hotel stay charged to Lucas's card. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was calculated. Scarlett had used his own money to fund her secret. Lucas scheduled another session with Dr. Carter, insisting Scarlett attend. This time, he brought the envelope. In the sterile office, he slid it across the table. "Care to explain these?" Scarlett's face drained of color. "What did you get those?" "Does it matter?" Lucas said, his tone even but cutting. 15 years, Scarlett. You kept these while we raised Isabella, built a life. You call me your husband while writing hearts to him." She stammered, "It wasn't like that. We just stayed in touch. It was harmless until recently." "Harmless?" Lucas opened the envelope, pulling out a letter dated a year after Isabella's birth. "You wrote, 'I'll always wonder what we could have been.' That's not harmless. That's a choice." Dr. Carter intervened. "Scarlett, help us understand. What's been happening with Damon?" Scarlett's eyes flicked to her phone, buzzing again. She silenced it, hands trembling. Damon reached out last year about a job at the Tampa Tribune. We started talking, and I realized I never stopped loving him. Her voice broke, but Lucas felt no sympathy. What we had was good, Lucas, but it wasn't what I truly wanted. Damon was always the one. The words hit like a sledgehammer. Lucas leaned forward, voice low. You let me build a life with you, knowing I was second best. You used my card to sneak around. That's not love. That's betrayal. Scarlett sobbed, but Lucas was done. He stood, leaving the letters on the table. I'm filing for divorce. You can keep the house, the accounts, everything. I want out. At home, Isabella was waiting, her college backpack slung over her shoulder. Mom called. She's a mess. What's going on? Lucas handed her the envelope. Read these. Then tell me who's the mess. Isabella skimmed the letters, her face crumpling. She said it was just recent, that you were too focused on work, that she was lonely. Lonely? Lucas snapped. I worked to give us this life. She chose to lie for years. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. But she's my mom. She said she deserves to be happy. Lucas's jaw tightened. And I deserve the truth. So did you? He grabbed his keys. I need air. You decide what you believe. He drove to the Coral Reef Hotel, the site of Scarlett's betrayal, and sat in the parking lot. Mike's latest report confirmed another meeting planned tonight. Lucas could confront them, make a scene, but what would it prove? Instead, he called his attorney, Sandra Matthews. Start the divorce papers. No fault, clean split. I'm done fighting for someone who checked out years ago. As he hung up, a text from Isabella lit up his phone. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Can we talk? Lucas stared at the words, the first crack of hope in the wreckage. But before he could reply, headlights swept the lot. Scarlett stepped out of the cab, Damon waiting by the hotel entrance. Lucas's hands clenched the wheel, torn between rage and resolve. The next move would define him. Lucas sat in his truck outside the Miami courthouse, the divorce papers filed, his signature sealing the end of 20 years. He'd given Scarlett everything, the house, her accounts, even the car, wanting a clean break. The letters, those damning relics of her loyalty to Damon, still burned in his mind. He'd left them with Scarlett in therapy, a silent accusation she couldn't dodge. Now, he needed to move forward, but the weight of betrayal clung to him like humidity. Back at the office, Lucas buried himself in work. His landscaping firm, Hernandez Designs, was bidding on a major EcoPar project, and he couldn't afford to lose focus. But every call, every blueprint felt hollow. His phone buzzed. Isabella. Dad, we need to talk. Mom's selling the house. Lucas's grip tightened. The house was where Isabella took her first steps, where they'd grilled burgers on Sundays, where he'd built a tree house for her 10th birthday. Scarlett was erasing it all. He drove to their Coconut Grove home, finding a realtor's sign already staked in the yard. Scarlett was inside, boxing up books. You're selling? Lucas asked, voice tight, standing in the doorway. Scarlett didn't look up. Damon got a promotion in Seattle. We're moving there. The sale will cover our new place. You didn't think to tell me? Or Isabella? Lucas's calm was fraying. That's her home, Scarlett. It's my house now, she said, taping a box shut. You signed it over. I need a fresh start. Lucas's jaw clenched. A fresh start with the guy you've been stringing along behind my back for 15 years? You don't get to rewrite history. Scarlett stood, eyes flashing. I'm not the villain here, Lucas. You were always working, chasing contracts. I was lonely. Damon reminded me what it felt like to be wanted. Don't put this on me, Lucas snapped. You chose to lie. You used my card to sneak around. You called me your safe choice in those journals Isabella found. Scarlett froze. She told you about those? Before Lucas could answer, Isabella burst through the door, her college backpack slung over one shoulder. Yeah, I told him, she said, voice shaking. I read your journals, Mom. You wrote that Dad was your compromise, that you settled for him because Damon left. How could you? Scarlett's face crumpled. It's not that simple. I loved your dad, but what? Isabella cut in. You lied to us both. For years. She turned to Lucas, eyes wet. I'm sorry, Dad. I thought you were the problem, but she's been playing us. Lucas wanted to hug her, but the air was too charged. It's okay, you didn't know. Scarlett reached for Isabella. Sweetie, I'm still your mom. I deserve to be happy. Isabella pulled back. Happy? You're selling my childhood to run off with some guy who dumped you 20 years ago. What about me? Scarlett's voice hardened. You're 18, Isabella. You're at college. You don't need me like you used to. Isabella's eyes widened, hurt flashing across her face. Guess I don't need you at all then. She stormed out, slamming the door. Lucas followed, catching her on the porch. Wait, he said, grabbing her arm gently. You don't have to choose sides. She spun around, tears streaming. She chose for me, Dad. She's throwing everything away. Our home, our family for him. I can't look at her the same. Lucas nodded, his own pain mirrored in her eyes. I get it, but you're still my kid. We'll figure this out. That night, Lucas checked into a motel near the airport, the hum of planes overhead matching the chaos in his head. He couldn't stay in the house, not with Scarlett dismantling their past. His phone lit up with a text from Mike. Damon's in Miami again. Coral Reef Hotel, room 312. Wanting to keep tabs? Lucas typed back, no. Let her go. He'd seen enough. Confronting them would only drag him deeper into her lies. Instead, he called his attorney, Sandra. Push the divorce through fast, he said. No negociations. I'm done. The next morning, Isabella showed up at his motel, her eyes red but determined. I found something else, she said, handing him a USB drive. It was in Mom's desk. Emails between her and Damon, going back years. So mention you. Lucas plugged the drive into his laptop. The emails were a gut punch, Scarlett venting about his long hours, calling him distant, while Damon urged her to reclaim her life. One email, dated 2 years ago, read, Lucas is steady, but you're my spark. Always were. Scarlett's reply, I'm trying to be loyal, but it's hard when I dream of you. Lucas closed the laptop, his hands steady despite the rage inside. She planned this, he said. While I was building our life, she was planning hers with him. Isabella nodded, her voice small. What do we do now, Dad? We move forward, Lucas said, standing. I'm not fighting for her scraps. Neither should you. As they left the motel, Lucas felt a shift. The pain was still raw, but clarity was setting in. Scarlett had made her choice, and now he would make his. The Eco Park contract was due for a final pitch tomorrow, and he'd pour everything into it. His business, his daughter, those were his foundation now. But a call from Sandra interrupted his resolve. Scarlett's lawyer wants to meet. She's contesting the terms, says you're hiding assets. Lucas's blood boiled. The fight wasn't over yet. Scarlett's sale of their family home and her lawyer's accusations push Lucas to the limit. As Isabella aligns with him, a new ally emerges, and a twist about Damon's life shifts the stakes. Lucas fights not for revenge, but for a future worth building. Lucas stood outside the Miami courthouse, the morning sun glaring off the glass building. Scarlett's lawyer had blindsided him, claiming he was hiding business assets to shortchange her in the divorce. After giving her the house and accounts, the accusation stung. He'd built Hernandez designs from late nights and calloused hands, and now Scarlett wanted a piece of that too. Lucas called Sandra his attorney. They're bluffing, he said. Push back hard. I'm not giving her another dime. Inside, Sandra laid out the strategy, prove his business records were clean, and finalize the no-fault divorce. But Scarlett's lawyer, a sharp woman named Elena Cruz, was relentless, demanding an audit of Hernandez Designs contracts. My client deserves her share of the marital assets, Cruz said, her tone clipped. Scarlett sat beside her, eyes fixed on the table, avoiding Lucas's gaze. Marital assets? Lucas said, voice steady but cold. She got the house, her retirement, everything in her name. I kept my business, which I built before we married. You're fishing. Cruz smirked. We'll see what the audit finds. Lucas leaned forward. Audit away. My books are clean. Unlike her loyalty. Scarlett flinched, but said nothing. The meeting ended with no resolution, only a court date looming. Lucas drove to his new apartment, a modest one-bedroom overlooking the Miami River. It wasn't home, but it was his. He pored over financial records, ensuring every invoice and contract was airtight. If Scarlett wanted to fight, she'd get one, on his terms. That evening, Isabella showed up, her laptop under her arm. Dad, I dug into Mom's emails again, she said, sitting at his small kitchen table. There's something you need to see. She pulled up a chain between Scarlett and Damon, dated a month ago. Damon wrote about his fresh start in Seattle, but one line stood out. The divorce cleaned me out. The new job's a lifeline. Scarlett's reply, "The house sale will cover us. We'll make it work." Lucas's jaw tightened. "She sold our home to bankroll his failure. Unbelievable." "There's more," Isabella said, scrolling. "Damon's lying to her. I cross-checked his Tampa Tribune bio. He wasn't promoted. He's on probation for missing deadlines. His divorce was finalized because he cheated." Lucas leaned back, processing the twist. Damon wasn't the golden opportunity, Scarlett thought. He was a sinking ship, dragging her down. "She's betting everything on a con," he said. "Let her." Isabella hesitated. "I'm done with her, Dad. She called me selfish for not supporting her new life. I want to stay with you." Lucas's chest warmed. The first real connection since the betrayal. "You've got a place with me, Is. Always." The next week, Lucas threw himself into the Eco Park pitch. The city's planning director, Linda Mercer, a sharp woman in her 40s, was overseeing the project. They'd met briefly at a zoning meeting, her direct questions about sustainable irrigation catching his attention. At the pitch, Lucas presented his vision: native plants, solar-powered water systems, zero waste. Linda nodded, impressed. "Your numbers are solid, but Westlake Designs underbid you by 10%. They use cheap materials," Lucas countered. "Their systems fail in 2 years. Mine last decades." Linda raised an eyebrow. "Prove it, and you've got my vote." After the meeting, Linda caught him in the hall. "Your daughter's been emailing me about environmental certifications. She's sharp. You raise her well." Lucas smiled, pride cutting through stress. "She's my secret weapon." Inspired, Lucas called Isabella. "You want on the business? Start researching eco-consulting. We could expand." Her voice lit up. "I'm already on it, Dad. I've got ideas for green certifications." Days later, Sandra called with news. The audit cleared Hernandez Designs, but Scarlett's lawyer dropped a new demand: half the profit from Lucas's pending Eco Park contract, claiming it was finalized during the marriage. Lucas laughed bitterly. "She's desperate. Damon's job must be shakier than we thought." He met Isabella for coffee to strategize. She slid a folder across the table. "I found Damon's LinkedIn. He's been passed over for promotions twice. Mom's moving to Seattle for nothing." Lucas saw the pain in her eyes, anger at Scarlett, but also loss. He squeezed her hand. "We're building something new. Is just us." The court date arrived. Scarlett's lawyer pushed for the contract profits, but Sandra dismantled their case, proving the deal was signed post-separation. The judge sided with Lucas, finalizing the divorce. Scarlett left the courtroom without a word, her shoulders slumped. Lucas felt no victory, only relief. That night, a text from Mike: "Damon got fired. Scarlett's in Seattle, broke. She's teaching part-time." Lucas didn't reply. Scarlett's choices had caught up with her. He turned to Isabella, working on her laptop. "Got those eco-certification plans ready?" She grinned. "Ready to pitch. Let's make Hernandez Designs unstoppable." Lucas nodded, a spark of purpose igniting. Scarlett's betrayal had torn down his old life, but with Isabella by his side, he was building something stronger. A new email from Linda popped up. "Eco Park contract's yours. Drinks to celebrate?" Lucas smiled. The future was calling. Lucas rebuilt his life after Scarlett's betrayal, with Isabella leading his eco-consulting division to success. As Scarlett faces the consequences of her choices, an unexpected reunion and a new partnership spark hope for Lucas's future. 2 years after the divorce, Lucas stood at the ribbon cutting for the Miami Eco Park, Hernandez Designs' biggest project yet. The crowd buzzed, city officials, clients, and his team, with Isabella at his side, her environmental consulting division the talk of the event. Native plants thrived under solar-powered irrigation, a testament to their shared vision. Lucas scanned the scene, pride cutting through the scars of betrayal. Scarlett's lies, her secret love for Damon, had nearly broken him. Now he was stronger. Isabella nudged him. "Dad, you're zoning out. Ryan Johnston's about to speak." Ryan, the developer who'd become a friend, took the podium. Hernandez Designs didn't just build a park, they built a legacy. Lucas and Isabella take a bow. Applause erupted. Isabella grinned, her confidence a mirror of Lucas's younger self. At 20, she'd turned their eco-consulting arm into a powerhouse, securing contracts across Florida. As Ryan stepped down, Linda Mercer, the city planning director, approached. "Impressive work, Lucas," she said, her direct gaze familiar from their meetings. "Your daughter's rainwater system is genius. The city's eyeing you for the waterfront redevelopment." Lucas nodded. That's Isabella's department. She's the brains now. Linda smiled. You two make a hell of a team. She lingered, mentioning a new sustainability conference. I'm speaking there. You should join. Maybe over coffee first? Lucas caught the spark in her tone. After 2 years of focusing solely on work and Isabella, the idea of connection felt possible. Coffee sounds good, he said. Later, as the crowd thinned, Isabella pulled Lucas aside. I got a letter from Mom, she said, her voice low. She's back in Miami, teaching at a community college. Damon's gone, fired, divorced, moved to Chicago. Lucas raised an eyebrow. Scarlett's fairy tale with Damon had crumbled, just as he'd predicted. She wants to see me, Isabella added. I'm not ready. Are you? Lucas shook his head. She made her choice. I'm focused on what's ahead. He meant it. The letters, the emails, Scarlett's journals calling him a compromise. They'd lost their sting. He'd rebuilt on his terms, with Isabella as his anchor. The next week, Lucas met Linda at a downtown cafe. Over Cuban coffee, they talked shop, water conservation, urban green spaces, but the conversation shifted. Linda mentioned her own divorce, a clean break from a marriage that never fit. You ever think about starting over? She asked. Lucas paused, then nodded. I already have, but I'm open to new chapters. Her smile hinted at possibilities. Back at the office, Isabella burst in with news. We got the waterfront contract. They love my sustainability pitch. Lucas high-fived her, pride swelling. You're killing it, kid. She hesitated, then said, I saw Mom yesterday. She's different. Regretful. Asked about you. Lucas stayed quiet. Scarlett's return didn't change his path. I told her we're good, Isabella said. You and me, we're the team now. Months later, at a company barbecue by the Miami River, Lucas surveyed his new life. Hernandez Designs had tripled in size, with Isabella's division leading the charge. Ryan, now a regular client, raised a glass. To Lucas, who turned loss into victory. The team cheered, but Isabella's toast hit deeper. To Dad, who showed me strength isn't holding on. It's building better. As the night wound down, Linda joined Lucas by the riverbank. They'd been dating quietly for months, her sharp mind and steady presence grounding him. Big year, she said, handing him a beer. Any regrets? Lucas shook his head. None. I lost a marriage, but gained myself. He glanced at Isabella, laughing with her fiancé, Jason, a policy wonk she'd met in college. And her. A text from Mike, his old PI friend, buzzed. Saw Scarlett's name in the paper. She's adjunct teaching, living alone. Thought you'd want closure. Lucas deleted it. Scarlett's consequences were hers to carry. She'd chosen Damon, sold their home, and lost Isabella's trust. Justice wasn't revenge. It was her facing the emptiness of her choices. At the waterfront project kickoff weeks later, Lucas and Isabella presented as a united front. Linda, now a close partner in work and life, introduced them to the city council. Hernandez Designs is redefining Miami's future, she said. Lucas caught Isabella's eye, a silent agreement. They'd built something unbreakable. As Linda's hand brushed his, Lucas felt the weight of the past lift. Betrayal had cracked his foundation, but he'd rebuilt it stronger, with people who chose him back.